All my life, I've been grinding all my life. All my life, grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle, pay the price. Wanna slice, throw the dice, that's why. All my life, I've been grinding all my life.
Welcome to another episode of Inside the Grind. I am your host, Serafina Maulupe. We have a very, very special guest with us today. I am super excited that he is here. I'm so grateful that he's here as well. He is a former professional basketball player, played college ball at UCLA. He was the first player in the school's history to earn first team All Pac-10 honors for 4 years and was also the first UCLA player to lead the team in scoring for 4 straight years. He was drafted by the Cleveland Cavaliers in 2003. He was the first NBA player to lead the league in three-point field goal percentage in 2 consecutive seasons. He also won the three-point contest twice in 2007 and 2008. In 2006, he won an NBA championship with the Miami Heat. But more importantly now, he is a husband and a father. I'd love to introduce Jason Capono.
Hello. Thank you for having me, Serafina.
No, of course. Thank you so much for being here. Playing college ball, and I loved your game. You know, you're a shooter. So I'm just so excited that you're here. But I know you're when I reached out to Flowers, asked him to connect me with you. He said that you're like kind of, private, right? Like after playing ball, you're just more like low key. But I'm curious, like, what are you up to right now? Like, how's life going for you?
Yeah, private is probably not the word. It's more busy.
Oh,
so my wife and I decided to have 2 sets of twins 20 months apart.
Okay.
So after I got done playing, after I got cut and waived and told that I couldn't play anymore, then that's when we started to have children. So we first had twin girls. So we have twin girls, Campbell and Isla, and they're in 3rd grade. Like they're more dancers. Like they kind of hoop a little bit. But they're more into the tap, jazz, and ballet and that stuff. And then 20 months later, we had our boys.
Oh, wow.
Luke and Austin. So, and they're currently 1st graders and they're 7 years old. So I want to say that I'm private. I would say that I get run around ragged. And Coach Flowers or Jason had a quote, and he always said, "Hey, Jay, some people run their house and some people run around their house." And that's what I do. I just run around my house. People yell at me, tell me what to do, tell me what I'm not doing, blah, 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 blah. So,
oh my gosh.
Some people run their house, but it's not me.
Wow. Oh, that's so awesome. Wow. 2 sets of twins. That's amazing. That's that's awesome.
Yeah. It's a blessing and it's fun, but yeah, it's extremely, busy. Definitely. So yeah, I'm doing that. Yeah. So I do that.
That's so awesome. Now just really, going back to when you grew up, you're originally from Long Beach. You went to Artesia High School. I would love for you to touch on that.
Lakewood, California.
Yeah. Lakewood.
Yeah, please don't say yes. Lakewood, Artesia. Jay Flowers is from Bellflower. And we would play each other twice a year. Okay. And you could talk to him and ask, how it turned out for him.
No, I mean, probably not.
Yeah.
But no,
phone a friend, ask him.
I will. But how was it? How was it growing up? In Lakewood, and so.
It was great. It was great. It was busy. It was awesome. A ton of kids around us. I mean, born and raised right there on the 605 in Carson. So.
Whoa! Yes.
I had a lot. Yeah, I had a lot of fun. I met a lot of good friends. I kept myself out of trouble, thank God, and that's because of sports. And yeah, I mean, I actually started out going to my father's parochial school, St. Cornelius first. So I went there K through 6th grade. Okay. And then I went public. I went to Haskell Junior High, 7th and 8th. Okay. And then I went to Artesia. So.
Wow. And when was basketball introduced to you?
I mean, from like a formal standpoint, I think it was in 4th grade. I got asked to play on a team. Actually, a guy by the name of Ricky Anderson, who went to Pauley High School. He went to Arizona. He was maybe a year older than me, but yeah, his dad was the junior college coach at Long Beach. Okay. So then he had his dad knew a guy that held practices there.
Okay.
So yeah, so he brought his son on, and then yeah, at school, I mean, like he asked me, and then like his mom like asked my mom, and that was that. I was hooked, and then I started playing on all the AAU teams, and yeah,
no,
it went from there.
Who did you grow up watching? Who are your teams and players that you grew up watching?
I mean, at first I was, obviously like the Showtime, so all the Lakers. So I grew up. I mean, I was born in '81. Like my dad is a Lakers fan, a Dodgers fan, all that. So we grew up watching Magic and Kareem and Worthy and Byron Scott and Coop and Rambis. So, I mean, to me, like that was like the pinnacle of basketball. Like that was where it was tough. It was a grind. It was pretty balanced. It was a ton of talent, but man, it was good hoops. So yeah, I grew up with them. Then once I got older, so Ed O'Bannon and Charles O'Bannon went to my school.
O'Bannon brothers. Oh yeah.
Yep. Artesia. So when I was in, let me think here. So they won the title in '95. Ed was like the national player of the year in high school in like '91, '92. So ever since I was 10, like I started to watch them.
Oh wow.
Right?
And I know. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No, yeah.
You're a McDonald All-American, in high school, and I'm sure you're being heavily recruited. Who are the other schools that you were considering?
The other schools I was considered Arizona, Utah, Missouri had Quinn Snyder, who is the coach of the Jazz.
Okay.
Who else did I consider? UCLA and Syracuse.
And what made you choose UCLA?
I mean, to be honest, like I was kind of, like I just kind of wanted to leave, like at first. So that's why I was thinking, like go out way east to Cuse. But then as soon as, like I found out how cold it gets there and the snow amount, then I was thinking like, man, that might be rough around Christmas time, right? Talking about getting homesick. Like, hey, Mom, how's the weather? It's like, yeah, well, it's 85 here. It's like, well, it would have been -2 and shoveling snow. So I kind of cut that out like really quick. But yeah, so I just kind of went back and forth. But then, it's kind of hard to say no, like to leave such a great sports town, have your family around.
Yeah,
it's a killer school. So in the end, I made a decision late, and then I signed in the spring.
Yeah, and so now you're at UCLA playing at the college level. What would you say was the toughest part to adapt going from high school to college?
I think the hardest thing is just to balance school and sports, because as soon as you get, like college, and you obviously know, as soon as you got to deal with like the academics and the study halls and the tutoring and taking tests on the road, but then you also have to train and practice and get treatment, and it takes a lot of time. So, and then also too, it's a tougher game, right? So when you come in like your first year, you're playing against 21-year-old men, 22-year-old men, possibly even 23-year-old men, right? Who have been in college for possibly 5 years. So it just, it's a different grind. It's a different test. So, like I kind of see why, me, like why you kind of start off well, but then like you kind of struggle like mid-season. It's because your body and your mind like start to break down because, it's such a grind.
Definitely. And I would just love for you to touch on playing at UCLA, playing for Lav, shout out to Lav. But overall Coach playing Lav. For a school. Yeah, Coach Lav. He's awesome. I texted him. I was like, hey, he helped me get my first internship with Fox Sports because he was doing he was an analyst over there, and
he still is, right?
Yeah, he still is. Yeah. Yeah,
he's super funny too, man.
Yeah, oh, he was just. I texted him. He was just like, he can shoot the ball. I was like, yeah, I know. But
I don't know about that, dude. But like Coach Lab has like the best phrases, best catchphrases for TV, for practice. I mean, he would have us dying like every practice. Like, how do you come up with that?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But how was it just overall playing at UCLA for a school, that has a winning culture and has a successful program?
Oh, it was great. It was a great experience. I mean, and to walk into that gym every day and see, banner after banner and see like all the names that have played there, Hall of Fame greats, top 10 players, coaches play. I mean, it's crazy. So, I mean, it's a tad bit of pressure, it's a big city, but it was extremely fun. I mean, thank goodness we were blessed to have great teams. So we were pretty much always ranked in the top 10, 15, 20. For 3 years there, we had a nice little run where we beat like a bunch of top seeds, like in the tournament. We always beat Stanford on the road. When there was ranked 1, which felt good. And we made the Sweet 16 in 2000, 2001, and 2002. Played with a ton of great players.
Yeah.
So,
and how was it? I was gonna, my next question going into like playing with Matt Barnes, Earl Watson, and Sean Farnham, Rico Hines, just to name, some.
Yeah.
And of course, my guy Jason Flowers. But just how was
Jay
it?
Flowers,
Jay Flowers,
Earl Watson, Moiso, Gatzert was there, Cedric Bozeman, Dijon Thompson. I mean, Moose Bailey. I mean, Rico. We had a squad.
Yeah, and how was that? Just
it's competitive. I mean, to be honest, like practices were probably tougher than the game, so like it was kind of easy to go play, right? I mean, obviously Duke, Kansas, and Stanford, and them, like they had the same caliber of players. But if you were playing, say, like a subpar Pac-12 team, dude, practices were so much tougher. So it was like, Coach, can we save it like for Thursday night, man? Because we're out here practicing on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, and we're beating each other up.
Man. Oh,
don't you want it on Thursday night, Coach Lab? Thursday night, please? Come on, man. Lighten up, dude. It's okay. Like, we don't need to run all the 17s, touch the lines, count out all this stuff, punishment. 2-hour practices, dude. Quality is fine. Quality over quantity. Sometimes, Lab. Come on.
No, you're just giving me flashbacks with Coach Flower, with Jason Flowers' practice. Man.
I mean, 17s.
17s.
Right?
Hold up.
17s. And then touch the line, and then he would come up with these crazy rules like if the guards have to run him in whatever 58 minutes, like whatever. And I was thinking, like, I'm not an athlete. I just shoot. I'm not fast. I'm not quick. I can't run. I'm not athletic, dude. So, I mean,
because he would have the guards would have like a different time to the bigs, because like the bigs could like come in for us, like that's how it was for us. Flowers, we'd have to make it like in 9 seconds, like a sprint 9 seconds, and big look like 11 seconds. Sometimes I was like, damn, I wish I was a big at times. So
I totally agree, and I'm like, wait, so you started your watch early, and now like you're telling us like you're punishing us? Hand me the watch, dude. I need to, let me start it.
No, for real.
So yes.
No, that was.
It was a beast.
Definitely.
And then Coach Lab, I don't know why, but Coach Lab would go, man. Sometimes you go 3-hour practices, and it was like, I mean, I get it. Like we're 19, we're on scholarship. I mean, hey, I totally get it, but maybe just one break, maybe 2 breaks, like, yeah.
No, I totally, I'm just getting all these flashbacks in my mind with my practices. But would you, do you have like a favorite memory from your college career?
Oh, we got a lot. I mean, like in terms of like the greatest win ever, Jerron Rush got suspended at the end of his freshman year because I think he went to the draft or something, like happened. So he had to sit out his sophomore year, which is my freshman year. So this would be 2001 year season. And then I think we're mid Pac-12 season, and we're leaving on the road to play Cal on Thursday, and then Saturday play Stanford, right? And Jerron is not able to play on the Thursday night game, right? And he hasn't played, like all year long, right? So he hasn't played for, they call it, I don't know if say Minnesota, say February. So he hasn't played in like 4 months.
Yeah.
And we have the primetime CBS Jim Nance game, right? Like the super, primetime game. Saturday, Stanford, like 12 noon. And Jerron comes back. He scores 19 points, and he hits a baseline fadeaway to win the game. His first game back. Yeah, it was killer. It was, they had Mad Dog, Jacobson, the Collins twins. They all play. Who else is on that team? I think like this kid named Stokes, I think it was. But yeah, like they were, super good that year. They beat Duke. Like they were ranked 1. And Jerron's first game back, he went baseline fadeaway, game over. Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah,
that's so awesome. But now getting drafted by the Cavs in 2003, just how was that moment for you overall? Can you take us back to that time?
Oh, that was great. That was a dream come true, right? Like that's where we all grew up, watching our favorite players, trying to copy, like what shots they shoot, like the fadeaway 3-2-1, like on the driveway, in the park, with the goal of putting in the work, putting in the practice, trying to get to that point. So for you to finally hear your name called, saying that you got drafted and that you have a chance to go, play professionally, it was huge. So, I mean, I was just sitting around with my current wife and, like we just sat solo somewhere in San Diego and we hoped and prayed that, that I would hear my name, and I did.
Oh, yeah. No, that's so awesome. I can only imagine just that feeling, and finally, like, it's a dream come true. And how was it now adapting? What was the toughest part for you adapting from college to the NBA now?
Oh gosh. Well, now it's like tenfold, right? Now you're playing against the best of the best of the best, right?
Yeah.
And I happened to, so I got drafted by the Cavs like in 2003, and there was like a small name guy that got drafted like that same year by the name of LeBron James. So yeah, it's kind of hard to walk out to walk into that team is possibly hopefully like the 15th man, and it's LeBron's team. So I mean, we had him obviously, but it was Darius Miles, DeJuan Wagner, Carlos Boozer.
Yeah,
I mean, we had so many talented wings. So I was just there like, man, I just got to compete.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be scared. I'm not gonna back down. But I'm gonna put, I'm gonna be in the best shape possible, and I'm gonna try my best. I'm gonna know all the plays, all the calls, practice my tail off, and somehow like I made the team.
Yeah, and I mean now so fast forwarding, it's in the 05-06 season. You signed with the Miami Heat, and you guys defeat the Mavs to win an NBA championship. And on that championship team, like there's Shaq, D Wade, Gary Payton, Alonzo Mourning, and
Jay Will, James Posey, Antoine Walker. I mean,
can you take us back to that season and that moment, and playing guys with like Shaq, Gary Payton, and D Wade, of course, winning a title. How was that?
It was a crazy year because expectation wise, the year before that they lost to the Pistons in the Eastern Conference Finals, and then the Pistons went on to beat the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
So then, and obviously like to have that quality of talent, expectations are to win a title. And then Coach Riley came down from being the president, and he took over the coaching seat after 21 games. So it was, I mean, talk about a tough coach, dude. Pat Riley, woo.
Really?
If you think running 17s and, all the line drills, I mean, Pat Riley is old school. He is, I mean, he is not scared, shy. He will motivate all. I mean, yeah. So he got our, I think we were 11-10 at the time when he came down, and he just totally got everyone focusing, motivated. I mean, it was no BS, and we took off from there. And then, obviously when you have like those caliber players, if they start clicking, like they're pretty good. So we were actually down. We came to Dallas. We thought, so like back then the finals were 2-3-2, right? So two, like 2 home, 3 road, and then back home for 2. So the Mavs had home court. So like they whooped us games 1 and 2. And then we went back to Miami for game 3. And we were down like, I think it was like 19, either late third, start of the 4th.
Mm-hmm.
And then D Wade came through, probably scored, I don't know, 23 or 25, like in the 4th. And then, we came back to win that game. And then after that, like we won, 3 straight. So it was a great year. It was a killer year.
That's so, and then I'm just curious, just how like the culture is in the locker room, how was that, especially, playing with a team like that, just how was it, I'm just curious.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same, but as soon as you reach that level, obviously guys know, it's cool. Like it's great. Like you're playing pro, you're on TV, blah, blah, blah. But like people want to win still. So it's the same whether you're 6 years old or 16 or, like in high school, you were trying to win the state championship. In college, like you're trying to win the championship there, like the NCAA championship. And then pros are, like still trying to do the same. So I think people kind of get lost at, because you were getting paid to do it. Like you don't care as much. but you actually care more.
Yeah. Definitely.
So, I mean, it's still casual and it's fun, right? Like we're laughing and joking, talking stuff to each other, but no, like that year was great because we had a great vibe and the chemistry was good. So it was casual and cool, but then also too, it was like competitive.
Yeah.
So when it was practice time and game time, it's 100%. Like everyone is in on practice, in on the game, focus. All the game plan, strategy, that stuff. And then obviously if you're whatever, traveling or like cruising out to dinner, yeah, it's the same stuff. Casual, fun. So yeah, it's a great environment.
And then now you winning the 3-point contest twice. How was that for you? It
was a great experience, but I think if you go back, I think like so the first year I shot in Vegas.
Okay.
And that was crazy, right? Because it was crazy packed, all that. But then like Shaq and them either placed bets on me and stuff like that. So they were like talking stuff to me like, dude, like you better not let us down. You better not let us down. So I remember getting to like the 4th rack and Shaq was sitting like courtside right there. And he was like, Capono, don't fuck it up. Capono, don't fuck it up. So yeah, and thank goodness I won.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Well, I mean, not once, but you won it twice, which is awesome.
And in my second year, then I went to New Orleans. And then I think I started off with like an air ball or two. So yeah, thank goodness. Yeah, I pulled it together. I maintained.
It happens. Yeah,
it does.
It happens though.
Yeah.
But now, like going into my next question, I'm curious as being a shooter, when you would shoot the ball, would you look at the front of the rim or the back of the rim, or what would you look at? I'm just curious.
I would actually watch the ball, which most people teach you not to do. I know.
What?
I never looked at the rim at all, ever.
Oh,
I would shoot and then go ball. I know.
Wow. Okay.
I don't know why, but it's probably like as a kid, I just learned that, and that's what felt good. And then growing up and stuff, like I would have guys who would like try to teach me that, and I could not shoot as good. So then I said, hey, I should probably not change. So
and
I just stuck to what felt good.
And who taught you how to shoot?
Like my first official shooting coach was this guy by the name of Des Flood. So he was an older guy. He used to work with this guy named Pat Barrett. So Pat Barrett grew up. I mean, he's had Tayshaun Prince and the Collins and Barron, and so he first started coaching like PTI. Now I think he coaches the SoCal All Stars. So he's had like a ton of dudes. But yeah, so like the first guy that he ever had, like come to practice and try to teach guys how to shoot is Des Flood. And then when I got to high school, the current GM for the Trailblazers, Neil, was high school or was friends with my high school coach.
Oh from
Santa Monica and come, like a few days a week. So, and then, I worked with Neil from I think my sophomore year in high school until he got his first job with the Clippers. So I had like a good 8 to 10 year run with Neil.
Wow.
Old shit.
No, that's awesome. But now, 2011, 2012, you signed with the Lakers, and just honestly being a Kobe and Laker fan, first, rest in peace to Kobe. It still doesn't feel real at times.
Man, rest in peace. Gosh, that's terrible.
I know. It's wow. But I just love for you to touch on your time playing with the Lakers and playing with alongside Kobe as well.
It was a short-lived time. I think it was a lockout year, and then I got traded, and I barely even played. But so it's probably more, or it's better to talk more, like more about Kobe. Kobe. I mean, dude. Yeah. Like to go back to our pre-screen talk here. Like he's ultra talented, right? He's gifted, he's blessed, he's athletic. But I mean, it just goes back to what we were, talking about. It's the amount of work that you put in, right? It's like how much time do you spend, like on your craft? Like, it's not by accident that Jordan is, like like a top player or the best player, or Kobe or Bron or Tiger Woods, or it's like people somehow just think that like they're just born with that talent, and then like they sleep until noon and they eat burgers and fries and they stay out till 3 a.m. No, they're doing anything and everything to find any edge, any way to like get better. And Kobe, even at that time, right, that must have been I mean, if you got drafted in what, 90, was it the 96 draft, right? 96 draft? Yeah. So then in 2011, I mean, that's what, his 15th year?
Yeah.
And he's got kids, sponsorship, media. I mean, all sorts of stuff, right? Like his time, like he's spread so thin, and he's still in the gym, morning session, night session, practice, driving back and forth like to Orange County, like all that stuff. So, I mean, like there's no shortcut to being great. Like I don't care who is born with the greatest skills or talent or whatever. Like there's no one in this world that gets to the top by luck or chance. It's all work.
Yeah. Well, thank you for, for sharing that and making the segue into my next question. What my show is about is the grind it takes to get to where you want to go in life. The road isn't perfect. It's like a constant grind every day. And are you able to share with us the grind it took for you and your journey, and honestly, to become one of the best shooters to ever play in the NBA? How was that? What was that process like for you?
The process is just, it's got to be fun. It's got to be, it's got to come from a sense of want, right? Like you have to want to do that. So if your parents are trying to force you to do something, then like that's probably not going to pan out, because if you don't want it, like on your own, then it's not going to be fun for you. So, like there's a ton of joy in the grind of sweating, feeling tired, feeling sore, people talking bad about you, struggling, losing, having bad games, right? Like there's fun in that, right? Like there's joy in, all right, cool. Like I failed, like I lost, I missed that shot, I had that turnover, man, like my body's sore, but like there's joy in bouncing back up like the following day, the following game, and saying like, hey, I know that like I can be better, and I am willing to go put in that work, and it's fun for me. Yeah. So I just think like that's what kind of like that's what takes like these, like that's what takes like the players who are kind of like, say, like not as talented, but who put in the work, versus like people who may have more talent, but then like they take it for granted, or they don't want to put in like the time. Then like that's how you get like the players who are D3 players who turn out to be great, or who don't go to like the, like the top 5 schools, or who aren't like a first round pick. Right. So, I mean, it just comes down to like to pure joy. I would assume like it's the same for you, right? Like you just enjoyed playing hoops, like, whether you played well or you played bad or whatever, like you were always, inspired to get better. You were always trying to get better. Like you wanted to learn. So I think like that's what all, like that's what all players.
Yeah, that's true. And that's a good point. And, are you able to share with us a time in your career where you had to overcome adversity and, and face a tough challenge?
I mean, a lot. I mean, starting back to like 4th or 5th grade when you're not playing, right? Like if you're not the best, like on your team, and you're like, man, dude, like, does it make sense to keep coming to these practices and stuff, and you're only playing 20 seconds or 30 seconds? And then, as you get older, then having to deal with when you are viewed as a good player, well, then when you're not so good like that game, dealing with like all the people who tell you that you were bad, or all the stuff that is written about you or talked about you, and that stuff. But at the end of the day, like as soon as you start to understand that it's not about like the outside world, it's about you, and as long as you have like the faith in yourself and you put in the work and you believe, then it's pretty easy to turn like all of that outside noise back into oh my gosh, like you're so great and you're so good.
Yeah. No, for sure. No, that's true. And that's an important message. So thank you for sharing that. But can you just share with us a little bit, of the, what we talking about, like pre-interview, like a little bit with your connection that you have with your Hawaiian side?
Yeah. So my dad is born in Hilo. So my grandfather and grandma on his side lived in Hilo post-war till like 1954. So until they were probably like 20 something. And then, like they came out to California. I mean, I have never been back to Hilo. But yeah, all my extended family, aunts, cousins, stuff, like would always come out in, like California. They would always try to like convince us to eat pig and poi, right? And
Yeah.
I did my best. I mean, I can handle the pig part, but like the poi is, not that, is not that great. But
Yeah.
So then, and then it was pretty cool because then my first year in college, we got invited to play in the Pearl Harbor Classic
Oh, wow.
tourney. So then, we got out there, and I think that was in '99. So it was cool. Like a few of my aunts and cousins and stuff, like they flew over, and we got to hang and watch. And so it was kind of cool to play there on, like their turf, and then have them, there and present and yelling out Capono. So
no, that's so awesome. Like, I don't think you know this, but just like you're it's just like the Pasifika community, like I don't know, like think about that, but just like, you represent that, you represent our community, and it's just so awesome, and thank you for sharing that. But I mean, yeah. Do you have a memorable locker room story you can share with us? Funny, anything, I
memorable
locker room story.
Sorry?
Yeah. It could be funny or anything.
I mean, I've got a lot of them. I think like a really funny one was the following year. It wasn't like the championship year with the Heat, but it was in 2007. Coach Riley came in. It was like post game, and he was like extremely mad, right? Because he played bad, and we didn't do certain things and stuff like that. So he like came in like to start to yell, but then he wanted to like close the door, and he went to go kick the door, but the door had the like hinge down, and he like tore his like PCL, and then he was out for a few weeks. And then our assistant had Ronnie Rothstein had to coach us like on the West Coast while Coach Riley had to recover, all because he was so mad at us. He tried to kick the door, but then the door won. So, he was pretty mad at that too. But then we all thought it was like kind of funny, but we couldn't laugh because he was mad like at the game. So it was like triple fold. He was mad, then we thought it was funny, but we were like, "Oh man, I don't want him to be more mad." So it was kind of just like, you're like, "That's serious." Like, oh man. Yep. Yeah. Okay. All right, coach.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Oh my God.
Yes, it was very funny.
Oh, thank you. No, thank you for sharing that. I just like love just hearing locker room stories because it's just like nothing you see on the court, and so
I would agree.
Yeah. What would your favorite moment be in your career?
Favorite moment in my career? Oh man, I would say just getting drafted. I think.
Yeah.
Just overall, just because like that's the pinnacle, right? Well, I mean, yeah, it's one of it, but it's like that's like the childhood dream, right? So it's like like for me, right? It was man. I grew up watching Magic and Kareem and Worthy and them. So I mean, like you never think it's like you dream of it, but you never really truly think that you were going to wear be in that league and play there. So for them to actually like call your name and then to walk in and see like, oh man, like I actually have the same jersey that like these other guys have worn. So
definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing.
Yep.
And what would your advice be to someone who wants to pursue basketball and get to where you're at?
My advice would be do it if you love it, and to always do it for yourself and for your teammates. Like don't get caught up, like especially now like the world's changed with all this like Instagram and all the social media. I feel like people get off track all because like they worry about like the outside noise. So they follow Twitter and Instagram and read newspapers and stuff like that. Where I mean, I guarantee you, Kobe or Michael Jordan or Tiger Woods, I mean, I bet they spend zero time ever worrying about what Jane or John Doe wrote about them or posted about them, or they said about it. So if you surround yourself with good quality people who share like your same goals and views, if you put in the time in the work and you don't worry about all the bad and all the outside noise, then I think you will be on a good path.
Definitely. And I'm curious as to what your thoughts are on like the type of play right now, like when compared to when you played in the league to now.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
It's just a faster paced game. I just think, coaches, like there's so many talented players now. Like 7-footers can, dribble and pass and shoot as good as as like the 6-foot guys, right? So I think coaches have done a good job in changing like their style of play. So for instance, I mean, Popovich back in the day when I was playing, like he would have gone crazy mad if his team ever gave up like 100 points on a consistent basis. Now I bet his team score 114 and they give up 110. So it's just it's the evolution, right? So it's the evolution of the game. It's bound to happen. So it's because of the Kobe's and the Magics and the Jordans and stuff that like the 7-foot guys were like, man, I don't want to just play post. Like I just don't want to like bang and grind like down low. I want to dribble. I want to shoot threes. I want to handle the ball. And then that's why you get all the small ball.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, is there a team that you're watching right now, or like do you watch games? To be
honest, I don't watch. I mean, the most basketball I watched was the Bruins run here in the
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about
from the end of the year, like the Pac-12 games, and then from the playing game on. I mean, I don't watch any hoops. I'm always coaching my kids, and we're running around and stuff, and then I'm all old and tired now, so then it's time for me to go to bed. But the Bruins were like it's the epitome of like hard work, right? And like put in the work, trust your teammates, trust your coach, and don't worry about seeding, criticism, what other teams favorites, all that stuff. You keep your head down and you believe, then look, they could have, should have, would have beat the Zags. I mean, a couple calls here or there, but I mean, like they played 7 deep. I mean, would you say that they were the most talented team? Probably not. Would you say that? But I mean, they balled though. They were Final Four run. Everyone was saying they couldn't score. They put up 91 against the Zags. I think it was 92.
Yeah, it was something like that.
Yeah. So they played extremely good. And then I mean, I bet they would have gave Baylor a better game too. Which I would have liked to see, versus the Zags getting bopped in the mouth at the start, 9-0, down 20, and then it's like, okay, this is fun.
But you gotta admit, the Baylor, they were some grown men, like they were big.
But you're playing like the number 1 team in the country who's 34-0, and and you're down by 20. Yeah.
No.
Hold on.
Okay.
It says it. Wait, are you still there?
I'm still here.
Okay.
Yeah.
You just like beat up. Yeah. Sorry about that.
No, it's okay.
I just think like the Bruins would have given, a way better game.
Definitely. No,
I'm a little biased though. I'm a tad bit biased. So you got to excuse me.
No, it's okay. But we're in the home stretch of things, and I love to do some quick hitters. So the first thing that comes to mind. All right. Let's see one. First one, favorite teammate.
Favorite teammate? Shaq.
In your career. Okay. Shaq. Second, the toughest matchup.
Ooh, Paul Pierce by far. Oh God. 17 feet, face up. Oh gosh, he was so tough.
Oh, okay. Third one, if you could have dinner with 4 other people, dead or alive, who would those 4 people be?
Oh, dead or alive?
Mm-hmm.
Let me think here. 4 people. I would go Nelson Mandela.
Okay.
I would go Jordan for sure.
Jordan. Okay.
I would go. This is tough. Barack Obama.
Okay.
And Jason Flowers.
Oh, okay. Okay. No, that's a good one. That's a good one.
I can have dinner with him anytime. No.
Yeah.
Right.
One. You got to pick 4 guys. 4 guys you're going to play pickup with at the park. This isn't an NBA game. So let's say, you're going to the Blacktop in Lakewood. Who are you bringing with you?
Man, I'll bring the Bruins squad. I go Earl Watson. I go Jerron Rush. I go Matt Barnes and Rico Hines.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's it. That's a good one. That's a good one.
It's a for sure fight. I mean, it's guaranteed. Yeah, we're for sure fight. Well, me no, but yeah.
Oh no, that's a good spot.
It's gonna be a tussle.
Yeah, definitely. The fifth one, what's the biggest lesson you've learned in the past 12 months?
Ooh, the biggest lesson. So COVID based, huh?
Yeah.
Man, I would guess how important like the social part of life is, face to face, and the interaction. Because I mean, I've had my kids at home trying to do Zoom school for a tad bit, and the amount of or the lack of what they learn was pretty crazy. Just because to keep them focused and concentrate, motivated was extremely poor. And then as soon as they got back into school, oh my gosh, like they picked up, right? Just having like the interaction with their teachers, like with their friends, being able to go outdoors and play. So yes, the value of that is probably the biggest.
Oh, lesson. That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing. But Jason, I just want to say thank you so much for joining me on my show. Thank you for sharing your story. And when people hear your story, I just want it to inspire overall. But I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you for having me. Mahalo.
Grinding all my life, sacrifice, hustle pay the price, want a slice, got the bullet dice, that's why all my life, I've been grinding all my life.